Hello and welcome to another edition of Arab News New Media Channel. We are here at the 57-member Organization of Islamic Cooperation headquarters in Jeddah. We have with us the Secretary General of the organization, an eminent historian, a fabulous diplomat, an intellectual, and an accomplished writer. He is His Excellency Professor Ekmeleddin Ihsanoglu. It's a pleasure to have him on his program. Professor,
you're welcome to OIC again.
Thank you very much for joining us on this program.
It's my pleasure.
It's always a pleasure talking to you, especially since you are very media savvy and you have had a great relationship with the media. We've heard in the media about your first visit to Palestine. We would want to know about your reflections on that visit.
Well, to start with, this is not first. This is, I don't know how many times I've been to Palestine, to different parts. I've been to Ramallah many times, at least twice, to Al-Quds al-Sharif, to Gaza many times. And particularly this time, there is a first in this time, and this is the visit of Khalil ar-Rahman, Hebron. So it's not the first, and I hope it is not the last. This visit was very significant. It came in a time where the Palestinian issue is progressing in the channel of negotiation. The negotiation with Israel has been initiated or resumed with as an American initiative. Of course, everybody is anxious to know how it started, how it is proceeding, and would this initiative end as the previous ones with no results, or would it bear fruit this time? So I had to have a first-hand contact with President Abbas, and then also I had to visit Al-Quds once again to see the situation and feel the situation there, and to visit for the first time Hebron. The sad issue in Hebron that the mosque, Khalil ar-Rahman Mosque, which is one of the most oldest Islamic sites in Palestine,
the Masjid al-Ibrahimi.
Masjid al-Ibrahimi, has been divided to two parts. It has been for almost 14th century or 13th century a mosque for Muslims, but act of aggression from the Israeli authority, it has been divided between Muslims and Jews for the first time in its history. And this very sad story, and we should really, as a Muslim world and the world at large, be conscious of the repercussions of such an aggression. And because this example, now this scenario, there's an attempt to repeat or emulate this in Masjid al-Aqsa.
Your Excellency, you've always spoken about what is happening close to Masjid al-Aqsa, the Judaization.
My visit to Masjid al-Aqsa showed me that there is a necessity for the Muslim world to take action. Let me finish with my visit to Ramallah and my meeting with President Abbas. The impressions I got from our meeting with President Abbas that the course of negotiations this time is quite different than previous ones. And the big difference happened after the recognition of Palestine as a state, full member to UNESCO and observer member to the United Nations. And I'm really gratified and humbled to say that the President Abbas acknowledged in a very kind words and a gesture the contribution of OIC to the recognition, because in the United Nations in New York we gave 53 votes to the recognition and admission of
which is a massive number.
Yes, massive number. That was really to see how that vote or how this new status of Palestine as a state differed. It has strengthened its hand, it gave Palestine new leverages and new possibilities, and transformed its position to a stronger position in negotiation. So to learn about the different aspects and the outcome of recognition and being observer member in United Nations is really very important, and I must say that we are expecting in the 9 months of this negotiation a different and new possibilities, and transform its position to a stronger position in negotiation. So to learn about the different aspects help stopping settlements in the Western Bank and particularly in Al-Quds.
Your Excellency, when the discussions were taking place, when Secretary of State Kerry was doing the discussions, one of the conditions from the Palestinian side was the freezing of the settlements, but obviously from the other side there was no commitment.
That is the major problem, but we understand that the administration, the Palestinian administration, the authority, and the negotiation team is trying to overcome this situation and to go with the course of negotiation. It is a short period. So let's go with the course of negotiation and see how that will bear fruit. Of course, at the end of the day, it needs two parties to agree. And we hope that, this is why I'm saying that the American position and its pressure on the Israeli government is very important.
Your Excellency, you have raised optimism after your talks with President Abbas. How are things different than the previous times?
Well, the big difference is that now there is a Palestinian state. And now it is from state to state. Before the recognition, before the membership in the United Nations and United Nations agencies, Palestine was not a state. It was the government of, or it was authority, national authority of Palestine. It was not. Now it is a state which is a member of the United Nations, and more than 130, around 138 countries recognize it as a state. So now it is two-state solution negotiation from state to state. This is the biggest difference, and that means a lot. That means a lot. I don't want to go for more details because I have no right to disclose these details. But I think it is this new situation that gives us hope for the future.
Mr. Secretary General, you have hope. What about the optimism among the people of the land? You've spoken to them. What is the impression you got from them?
I think the Palestinian people have their trust in the government, and as I said, it is not a long period. It's 9 months, and then of course everybody has to reconsider his position.
What is the situation in Gaza Strip? We keep talking about West Bank.
Well, let me complete on Al-Quds. You see, now Al-Quds really is a very difficult situation, and the people, Jerusalemite people, people of Al-Quds, they are forced to leave their countries, their homeland, their city. There are so many hindrances and restrictions and impediments for their daily life that they are forced to leave it. And I think in the Muslim world, our duty is to help these people. And I would like to say that helping Jerusalem and the people who live in Jerusalem is a duty for every Muslim. And we have to do this not only by passing resolutions or issuing press releases and statements. We should do this in economic terms and political terms. We had prepared a strategic plan of action to help the people of Jerusalem to live there and to ease their life. And this plan has 3 chapters. First chapter for education, second for housing, third for health care. So we have opened this, and this has been approved by the summit.
Okay.
And we have announced a donors conference. So some countries came, institutions, even individuals, they are welcome, came with proposals for help. But we need a lot, and this plan is there, and we welcome any contribution from everyone. This is number 1. Number 2, I do encourage the touristic visits, or visits to pray in Al-Aqsa, or to visit Al-Quds, to pray in Al-Aqsa Mosque, to pray in the Dome of the Rock. This is where the Isra and Miraj of our Prophet happened 14th century ago. We have to visit these places. By visiting these places, we are helping. First of all, we have to create the feeling of association with these places.
True.
And we have to develop the sense of partnership or ownership, that these places, we own these places.
True. Which we own.
And we have a part in it, we have a share in it. Part of this mosque, part of this Dome of Rock, of the walls of the city belongs to me personally. We have to develop this feeling in every Muslim. And they have to visit these countries, to pray there, to devote their souls to leave the devotion, the piety, where these sanctuaries give you a very special feeling. Meanwhile, by living there a few days as a tourist, you will help the people of Jerusalem by staying in their hotels, by buying food from them, by buying souvenirs.
Helping their economy.
And showing that 1.5 billion people are with you. So I really encourage people to go and visit them. And I think this idea that going there is helping Israelis is totally wrong.
Because that's the impression that people
This
have.
is a wrong idea. There were many ways to go there, to Jerusalem, through Palestine, through Jordan. And there are many tourists coming from all over the world. Some tourists coming from Muslim countries as well. We have to encourage them. So I would like really through you to send a message that Muslims should visit Al-Quds al-Sharif and pray there and live there for a few days and help the people of Jerusalem to sustain their life there and to deal with this aggression. You see, this is the only way that you and me and every single individual Muslim can help in his own or her own, by her own means or his own means.
And what can the Muslim world do to stop this Judaization of Al-Quds al-Sharif or Jerusalem? What steps?
Well, of course, as I said, if you can go there in masses, and the people, the Muslims, the Arabs of Jerusalem, see your solidarity with them, that gives them, boosts their morale. When the occupying forces see that you are coming there in masses, I think they will have to make more than one calculation, you see, to change the status quo of the Masjid al-Aqsa. And of course, there are ways and means to do with the governments through international institutions. And there are also legal measures. We have to consider all these in dealing with that, but of course, we have to have, first of all, very strong commitment to the cause of Palestine and the cause of Al-Quds al-Sharif.
Mr. Secretary General, you talked about mere statements will not help, and then we have to do it in terms of economy and other aspects. Would you like to discuss about custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah's donation in that respect, and what other countries can follow in that step?
Well, I think that was an ideal contribution. I was very happy because it was just on my way from these holy places that we heard the announcement, and the announcement was made in one of the OIC institutions meeting, the Organization of Islamic Capitals and Towns, and that shows how keen the Kingdom and His Majesty the Custodian to help all Islamic causes, to help Al-Quds Sharif and different cities and towns in Palestine and through OIC.
Excellency, you've made a very bold statement about how Muslim world should take an active part and go there for a sense of belonging with that Islam's third holiest mosque. Should this also be done at a government level? Should governments also take a part in encouraging their population to really go there?
I would say so, yes. Certainly, the encouragement will help a lot.
And what is the state of the negotiations at the moment? You said you would not like to disclose a lot between the two.
Well, I think it's up to the government itself, the Palestinian government, to do whatever announcement. I just giving my impression, and it's favorable impression. And I think it's our duty to support them now.
Anything that you would like to convey to the Muslim world through this Arab News new media?
I'm really very happy to have this Arab News channel, video channel. It's something new. Arab News has been always very successful as a newspaper. And I was always saying that I would rate the Arab News as an English newspaper, as the best English newspaper in the Muslim world, because it's very comprehensive, very thorough, and you can read in Arab News items, news and reports, articles that you cannot read elsewhere. Having now added to this a new channel or video channel that is an added value, I'm very glad to be among your first guests, and I wish we will have a lot of cooperation with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
That was OIC Secretary General Professor Ekmeleddin Ihsanoglu talking to us about his impressions from the visit to Palestine. He wants every single Muslim to visit Al-Quds al-Sharif to impress upon the world about our claim on that territory. Thank you very much.